Welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt, and this is the Chevrolet Silverado ZR2 Bison, and it is the most off-road capable Silverado that money can buy. And I know exactly where all of your heads are going, and we really addressed that conversation head on in our feature tour video that we did earlier this week. But now we're at the end of our week with this Bison, and we're going to talk about the best and the rest, starting with the rest. The first thing that we're going to talk about is price, and this is really my biggest issue with the truck. Objectively and in a vacuum, it's a brilliant truck, but as tested, this Bison package with the ZR2 makes it $85,000, which is just a lot of money, and more specifically, deep into real Raptor monies. So if it's similar in price, I just want it to be a little bit more unhinged, like the Raptor experience. But this truck has a totally different mission from the Raptor, which we'll talk about more throughout the course of this video. Number two, we're going to talk about missing stuff. And again, this goes down to price, because at $85,000 as tested, there's a couple things that I was surprised not to see in here. Like a panoramic sunroof, or a sunroof at all. It's just not here. And then as your driver assistance suite, you're missing a lane centering or lane tracing. This is great on the highway in terms of ride, but I would love to have had supercruise, or at least something to keep me in my lane a little bit better. And you don't have an underbody camera like you do in the new Colorado and the Canyon, but I suspect you'll get that when this thing gets refreshed. So just a couple things here and there, and none of them are really the end of the world by any means, but just something that I was surprised not to see during my week here with this $85,000 truck. And number three, we're going to talk engine. Now, in a world where the Raptor comes as base with a V6 and you can't even buy a Tundra with a V8 anymore, it is nice to have the 6.2 GM V8 in here. But it's not exactly perfect. It makes 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet, which isn't bad on the face of it, but it is less than the Raptor and the TRD Pro. It also is less efficient than either of those two at about 15 mpg, but we've been underachieving that with more than half of our mileage being on the highway this week. But honestly, those things don't bother me as much as the muted sound. The whole value proposition here is that you can get the V8 experience where you can't in the Raptor or the TRD Pro, but it's the quietest and most muted V8 in the game. Give me some sound and drama, Chevy. But that's it. So let's talk about some of the great things going on with this ZR2 Bison. Number one is the off-road kit that you get here. Now, like I said, the ZR2 is the most capable off-road Silverado you can get, and with the Bison package from AEV equipped here, this is off-road and overland ready right out of the box, right off the lot. Now, technically this truck is a ZR2 with the AEV Bison package, AEV standing for American Expeditionary Vehicles. And the Bison package is about $8 grand, and it adds steel bumpers front and rear. You do have steel integrated recovery hooks up front and back, and you've got upgraded skid plates all around the body. You also upgrade your wheels to an 18-inch set, and you have a full-size spare, and they're wrapped in 33-inch Goodyear Wrangler mud terrain tires. You've also got rock rails down the side and some branding on the back. And of course you have things like 4x4 standard, you've got your low range transfer case and all that protection with the tires and the front and rear locking diffs. And that is a huge deal and something that you really only kind of see in these ZR2s. Plus of course you get hill descent and a number of trail cameras. And that's not even mentioning the Multimatic DSSV shocks that add additional wheel travel for better articulation off-road, and they're the same dampers used on military vehicles. So you could say that these are military-grade suspension units. Overall, by the numbers, with your revised front bumper, you have a max approach angle of 32.5 degrees, you've got 11.2 inches of clearance, and your rerouted exhaust that's been tucked up underneath the back bumper improves your departure angle to 23.4 degrees. This thing can go pretty much anywhere in this state, and a lot of places that the Raptor can't because it doesn't have that huge wide body kit. It's kind of nice, actually. And number two, we're going to talk about the drive. This thing may not be as crazy as the Raptor, but it's really, really refined, especially on the highway. The V8 is quiet and smooth. The 10-speed is nice and really smooth. You can hardly tell that it's there. And the DSSV Multimatic shocks aren't just good off-road, but they make for a really supple ride here on the pavement. The cabin refinement is surprisingly quiet and sedate, even with these mud terrain tires on, which is really impressive. They're nice and quiet. And then the steering, it's just nice and light. So the ride and experience here behind the wheel, top three. Which brings me to point three, the looks. Now, no, it's not as crazy looking as the Raptor, but that's kind of on purpose here. This is more of a rock crawler. It's skinnier and on purpose to get through tougher trails like we have here in Wisconsin where trees exist from time to time. And it still manages to look cool without the wide fenders. You've got this red hot paint with a full black gloss grille for your ZR2, and you even have the open Chevy bow tie, which has been cleverly named the flow tie. Love that. You've also got your upgraded AEV bumper, adding a bit of brawniness to it. And you have your black and red ZR2 fender badge up front, so everybody knows you mean business. And then your upgraded wheel and tires look fantastic. And of course your rear gets some special AEV accents and a matte black gate and badging. Does it look as crazy as the Raptor? No. But does it look cool and badass? Absolutely. And number 4, we'll address the truck stuff. This thing isn't just good at off-roading. We'll start with your tailgate, where you have your multi-flex tailgate, which is actually really cool, and we use it a number of times this week. You've got 2 buttons on the back, which will tell you which shape to correspond to what part of the tailgate you're opening. And normal ZR2s will have a full body color rear gate, but this has that matte black sticker on it for the Bison package. And the AEV rear bumper removes those little footholes that you'd have on the normal ZR2, but with the multi-flex tailgate, you can use that as your bed step as you still have the handle. And then there's the bed itself. This is the only configuration that you get at about 5.5 feet, and you have this tonneau cover as an added dealer option, but your payload is rated at 1,440 pounds. And of course you've got ZR2 stamped into the back of the bed, which is pretty cool. And then to wrap things up, your towing capacity is 8,800 pounds, and you've got all sorts of trailer cameras and trailer menus that you can even program guest trailers and different things within your app. So not only will it get you and your loved ones through the forest, but it'll also get all of your stuff and anything that you can tow. Pretty nice. And then there's the interior details. Now there's a lot of really cool accents all throughout the cabin here. For starters, you do have this 2-tone washable upholstery, which makes more sense than the white upholstery that you get in the AT4X Canyon. And you've got yellow stitching, which is a bit interesting considering the exterior color for the ZR2 is red and the interior color is yellow. But anyway, the upper panels of your door cards and along with other places on your dash and center console are kind of this dimpled golf ball material, which is kind of cool. And of course you've got seats that are heated and cooled, and of course you can select whether you want your back heated or your back and your butt. And you have a heated steering wheel. So some genuine luxury stuff and some nice accenting flair. You love to see it. And not only does it have luxury features, it also has a boatload of tech features. You've got screens everywhere, 12 inches for your digital instrument cluster. It's a little weird that there's no Bison or AEV graphic on startup, but it is really, really nice. You have a huge head-up display that'll tell you everything from your adaptive cruise settings to your pitch and roll. And then of course you've got your upgraded center screen, which is 15 inches, whereas it would have been 13.4 had you not upgraded it. Wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You've got Google built in, so you've got Assistant, Maps, etc. You've got great 360 cameras here, and you can have multiple things on the screen at once. And to top it all off, you do have a digital rear view mirror, which is really nice. And there's a bunch of hidden little Easter eggs in the infotainment that we cover in our feature tour, so be sure to check that out. They're kind of fun. And the last thing we'll talk about are the rear seats. Now they are huge, and of course they fold up for additional storage down here. You've got a nice flat floor to put stuff, and one of my favorite things, the seat backs open up. Classic GM stuff, but when you hop in, it's huge. I'm 6'1", I have miles of knee room in front of me. I've got loads of headroom. I've got 3 level heated seats, chargers, vents, cup holders. I mean, it's perfect back here. It's perfectly good. Would like a sunroof, but nitpicking. Let's get into final thoughts. So that's the best and the rest of the Silverado ZR2 Bison. And I know we use the word Raptor too much in this video, but at the end of the day, this really is a better off-roading product for somebody like me living in Wisconsin with tighter, more technical forested trails. This being skinnier and more agile and having the front locker, it does bring a lot of benefit. The only issue here with this truck is the fact that it is a little bit too expensive in my mind. But other than that, in a vacuum, this thing is a brilliant truck. So thanks to Chevy for letting us have a go. Thank you to watching, and we'll see you in the next one.